Exodus chapter 7, verse 1 to 25. Verse 1. Then the Lord said to Moses, See, I have made you like God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron will be your prophet. Verse 2. You are to say everything I command you, and your brother Aaron is to tell Pharaoh to let the Israelites go out of his country. Verse 3. But I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and though I multiply my signs and wonders in Egypt. Verse 4. He will not listen to you. Then I will lay my hands on Egypt, and with mighty acts of judgment I will bring out my divisions, my people, the Israelites. Verse 5. And the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord, when I stretch out my hands against Egypt and bring the Israelites out of it. Verse 6. Moses and Aaron did just as the Lord commanded them. Verse 7. Moses was 80 years old and Aaron 83 when they spoke to Pharaoh. Verse 8. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron. Verse 9. When Pharaoh says to you, perform, and it became a snake. Verse 11. Pharaoh then summoned wise men and sorcerers, and the Egyptian magicians also did the same things by their secret arts. Verse 12. Each one threw down his staff, and it became a snake, but Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. Verse 13. Yet Pharaoh's heart became hard, and he would not listen to them, just as the Lord had said. Verse 14. Then the Lord said to Moses, Pharaoh's heart is unyielding. He refuses to let the people go. Verse 15. Go to Pharaoh in the morning as he goes out to the river. Confront him on the bank of the Nile, and take in your hands the staff that was changed into a snake. Verse 16. Then say to him, The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, He sent me to say to you, Let my people go, so that they may worship me in the wilderness. But until now you have not listened. Verse 17. This is what the Lord says. By this you will know that I am the Lord. With the staff that is in my hands I will strike the water of the Nile, and it will be changed into blood. Verse 18. The fish in the Nile will die, and the river will stink. The Egyptians will not be able to drink its water. Verse 19. The Lord said to Moses, Tell Aaron, take your staff and stretch out your hands over the waters of Egypt, over the streams and canals, over the ponds of all the reservoirs, and they will turn to blood. Blood will be everywhere in Egypt, even in vessels of wood and stone. Verse 20. Moses and Aaron did just as the Lord had commanded. He raised his staff in the presence of Pharaoh and his officials and struck the water of the Nile, and all the water was changed into blood. Verse 21. The fish in the Nile died, and the river smelled so bad that the Egyptians could not drink its water. Blood was everywhere in Egypt. Verse 22. But the Egyptian magicians did the same things by their secret arts, and Pharaoh's heart became hard. He would not listen to Moses and Aaron, just as the Lord had said. Verse 23. Instead, he turned and went into his palace, and did not take even this to heart. Verse 24. And all the Egyptians dug along the Nile to get drinking water. Verse 1. Then the Lord said to Moses, Go to Pharaoh and say to him, This is what the Lord says, Let my people go, so that they may worship me. Verse 2. If you refuse to let them go, I will send a flock of frogs on your whole country. Verse 3. The Nile will teem with frogs. They will come up into your palace and your bedroom and onto your bed, and to the houses of your officials and on your people, and into your ovens and kneading trough. Verse 4. The frogs will come up on you and your people and all your officials. Verse 5. Then the Lord said to Moses, Tell Aaron, Stretch out your hands with your staff over the streams and canals and ponds, and make frogs come up on the land of Egypt. Verse 6. So Aaron stretched out his hands over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land. Verse 7. But the magicians did the same things by their secret arts. They also made frogs come up on the land of Egypt. Verse 8. Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, Pray to the Lord to take the frogs away from me and my people, and I will let your people go to offer sacrifices to the Lord. Verse 9. Moses said to Pharaoh, I leave to you the honor of setting the time for me to pray for you and your officials and your people, that you and your houses may be rid of the frogs, except for those that remains in the Nile. Verse 10. Tomorrow, Pharaoh said. Moses replied, It will be as you say, so that you may know there is no one like the Lord our God. Verse 11. The frogs will leave you and your houses, your officials and your people. They will remain only in the Nile. Verse 12. After Moses and Aaron left Pharaoh, Moses cried out to the Lord about the frogs he had brought on Pharaoh. Verse 13. And the Lord did what Moses asked. The frogs died in the houses, and the country yards, and in the fields. Verse 14. They were piled into heaps, and the land reeked of them. Verse 15. But when Pharaoh saw that there was relief, he hardened his heart and would not listen to Moses and Aaron, just as the Lord had said. Verse 16. Then the Lord said to Moses, Tell Aaron, stretch out your staff and strike the dust of the ground, and throughout the land of Egypt the dust will become gnats. Verse 17. They did this, and when Aaron stretched out his hands with that staff and struck the dust of the ground, gnats came on the people and animals. All the dust throughout the lands of Egypt became gnats. Verse 18. But when the magician tried to produce gnats by their secret arts, they could not, since the gnats were on people and animals everywhere. Verse 19. The magician said to Pharaoh, This is the finger of God. But Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he would not listen, just as the Lord had said. Verse 20. Then the Lord said to Moses, Get up early in the morning and confront Pharaoh as he goes to the river, and say to him, This is what the Lord says, Let my people go, so that they may worship me. Verse 21. If you do not let my people go, I will send swarms of flies on you and your officials, on your people and into your houses. The houses of the Egyptians will be full of flies, even the ground will be covered with them. Verse 22. But on that day I will deal differently with the land of Goshen, where my people live. No swarms of flies will be there, so that you will know that I, the Lord, am in this land. Verse 23. I will make a distinction between my people and your people. This sign will occur tomorrow. Verse 24. And the Lord did this. Then swarms of flies poured into Pharaoh's palace and into the houses of his officials. Throughout Egypt the land was ruined by the flies. Verse 25. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, Go, sacrifice to your God here in the land. Verse 26. But Moses said, That would not be right. The sacrifices we offer the Lord our God would be detestable to the Egyptians. And if we offer sacrifices that are detestable in their eyes, will they not stone us? Verse 27. We must take a 3-day journey into the wilderness to offer sacrifices to the Lord our God, as he commanded us. Verse 28. Pharaoh said, I will let you go to offer sacrifices to the Lord your God in the wilderness, but you must not go very far. Now pray for me. Verse 29. Moses answered, As soon as I leave you, I will pray to the Lord. And tomorrow the flies will leave Pharaoh and his officials and his people. Only let Pharaoh be sure that he does not act deceitfully again by not letting the people go to offer sacrifices to the Lord. Verse 30. Then Moses left Pharaoh and prayed to the Lord. Verse 31. And the Lord did what Moses asked. The flies left Pharaoh and his officials and his people, not a fly remained. Verse 32. But this time also Pharaoh hardens his heart and would not let the people go.